Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Hope everybody is doing well out there.
Indeed, we do.
Yes, so this is going up on HEEARTS. Of course, everything is on Patreon. So again, we thank you guys for your support over on Patreon. And you could contact us through evolutionaryenergyarts.com. This is, again, our website, which was recently given a big redoing over by our Ellie, and we thank Ellie for all her help. This was our Critical Galactic Federation update, a Patreon exclusive today. Lots of information coming through. Actually, Cindy started to get more information just now when something popped up in the feed. And, man, these are exciting times. Many people might know that when they're seeing these balls of light orbs, they're not all dust particles, they're not all moths and insects, that you're actually looking at beings. Sometimes, these beings can be of an elemental nature. Other times they could be of the, dearly departed nature. Humans that have moved on. Typically, when a human moves on and you see those classic ghost hauntings where they still retain the shape, that's usually either an extreme traumatic event that's been imprinted on the very fabric of our reality, or it's somebody that's relatively freshly departed and still kind of holding their form. Over time, though, they will kind of become more of an orb. Again, elemental beings, we have all sorts of elemental beings. We have our legends of fairies and sprites and gnomes and undimes and sylphs and, other creatures as well. They abound. They way outnumber us on planet Earth. There are so many different types. And again, when you're talking the fourth density in the astral, you really can shift your shape, and you can, with practice, kind of appear as different things. So I wanted to share with you guys what we got. We have one camera that is always looking towards what becomes a little stream going through the backyard. This particular area is by a mound, and we live in an area that has well-known historical mounds done by the mound builders, these indigenous people that literally created these mounds. In fact, we have one like right around the block with a plaque on it talking about its history. So, it's in this area. We have 8 or 9 cameras up on the house, and there's only one that at any time of the night is showing orb activity. But the thing is, it shows constant orb activity all night long. And I've gone out there when it was summer, just to verify I'm not seeing like swarms of gnats or bugs. Nope. And last night we were at 32 degrees about. It was at freezing. There wasn't a lot of bug activity, if any. And yet we had tons of orb activity. And this is just the norm here. And now last night, I was blessed to have my wife fall asleep and to have a elemental being step in and start explaining things to me. So I was having a real hard time sleeping last night. And maybe it sensed it. And all of a sudden, I'm having a conversation with an elemental being. I asked him his name. He felt masculine. And he said, I'm nobody important. He said, you could call me the keeper of the land in this area. So it's interesting. Many of you probably are familiar with the idea of keepers of the land, these elemental beings, that they could be thought of in some cases even as gods of the land, as they get bigger and stronger and more powerful in their consciousness as time goes on. These are beings that are maintaining an area. They are literally working on the foundational building blocks of our reality to maintain them to a certain degree. So, I had a conversation with him, and it was fascinating, and I'm going to give this to Cindy because I talk too much.
Oh, no. I mean, I think this was, sorry, this was really fun because we have so many other cameras, and this is the only camera that ever does this. It's amazing. So to see these little beings, go to and from, and it's right over that little stream of water. And I do believe this area that we have is sacred. I think it's special. I think it brings about a certain amount of healing. I think it brings about a certain amount of expansion. And, you add all the energy work that we do on this land, and I think it just really makes it special here. So the energy is something that I really, really appreciate. And this other being that came through, according to Mike, this other being really appreciates it as well and is happy to share their words and their wisdom and their understanding. I do think that they sense kind of who we are and how we do mean to bring life to the land and the surrounding areas. I do think things have gotten better here, like physically, because when you do the mantras, all the meditations, you do all the blessings, and I do a lot of blessings on the land. I think that matters, and I think that can boost your elemental activity. And this camera, it's the only one. It's nonstop, and it's right by that water.
Yeah, and this is not on fast. This is on the actual playback speed. I'm going to slow it down now, which in reality, I haven't looked at it slowed down, but it might be fun. Yeah, so, this one always picks up this activity, and some nights it's insane. We were watching it one night, and it was like watching a New York City or LA highway with the traffic. It was just incredible. All these orbs and all these beings that would come and then stop and, go by. It was just wild, absolutely wild. Last night was really, really active, and maybe they were picking up on my energy to a degree. So I had the conversation because I don't know. Sometimes I didn't recognize the energy. Cindy picks up different personas depending on who she's channeling. The person felt benevolent but indifferent a little at the same time, kind of like very, very matter of fact, just wanted to, drop in and answer some questions that were rolling through my mind. This is also something to realize. If you're thinking in your mind and you have a rolling conversation going, the beings in fourth density in the astral, they could pick up. Often they can pick up, they could hear you, and they might even converse with you. So you don't even have to go and say anything verbally out loud to communicate. They automatically communicate telepathically. So I was rolling through lots of thoughts, because I had it in mind to talk more about the elementals. And, somebody had left a comment saying, thank you for talking about the elementals. Because I think they're vastly underappreciated. I think also people should understand, I do not see these beings as in any way inferior to us. Not at all. I think they're vastly underappreciated. And I kind of feel a little bit bad for them because, again, they're very sad when humans go and destroy nature. It absolutely can make them sad. And there's somebody delivering a package. So Sita picked up on that. This is a different time last night. So this happens all night right by the water. And again, water is life. It really, truly is life. And that's something to note. So when I asked this being, I said, why is it so busy over on that side of the house by the woods? And he said, well, the best explanation I can give to you is that is basically a well-traveled pathway. So in a different density, in our density, this looks like, basically nothing but just woods and a little stream that rolls through it. In another density, this is a very known, well-traveled path that many, many beings take. So he said, in a way, you're kind of like right next to a highway in a different dimension, so to speak. So I thought that was fascinating, because what looks to be a nice peaceful part of just simply the yard is in a different density, a place where people are traveling to and fro all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this would be a nice place to make a meditative spot, put a little bench and maybe some pretty things, a little more nature, a little more, maybe some raised flower beds, just something to add to the beauty, so you could go in the middle of here and just sit and meditate. The last thing I remember of myself before going and channeling this being is just overwhelming feeling of love. So I know that my vibration had gone up into a different realm, and then I feel this other being come through. So I step aside and allow that other being to say whatever they can say through me. It's important to remember that they don't all communicate the same. So the communication can be a little bit of a conundrum, but I think this being, I think, from what I hear from Mike, he really did well in conveying, what this area is about.
Yeah, the other thing that he said to me, he said, I want to thank you both for bringing an uplifting to the land here, for pulling the frequencies upwards, because our daily meditation and mantra practice with our Qigong and yoga, it just pulls the frequency for the whole area up, and it makes life better for all these beings that are not embodied like we are.
They can move around better. They have more freedom. It's just like sometimes maybe you're in a really good mood and you feel light and fluffy and airy and you just feel free. Your soul feels good. So whenever a vibration is up in a certain area, all beings feel better.
So this shows you how important it is to raise your frequency. It's not just for you, it's beyond that. When we raise our frequency higher, we're literally helping countless beings all around us all the time. And if each one of us can be a bearer of that light on the planet, we could just transform this planet so quickly. We don't understand how just each person taking their time to have that daily spiritual practice can totally transform the Earth's reality.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. And again, as always, guys, thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys over on Patreon. Look forward to your comments on this one. Make sure you're subscribed to all the channels. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.